Hey guys, it's Taylor. You're watching Fearless Unscripted, or maybe listening. I'm so excited to be joined by Texas Tech head football coach Joey McGuire. You can probably hear it's a little bit active here at the Womble. I love it. It's like excitement is just teeming around this facility right now.
Yeah, today's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
We have close to 1,000 women for our Women's Behind the Brand, and then we have team meeting tomorrow, and we practice on Wednesday. So
it's here.
Yeah.
It's so cool too. I think your wife, Debbie, is a huge part of Women Behind the Brand too. And so it's cool to be able to see like so many women just come to not only support you and the team, but to kind of like be here in support of her too. This is kind of like her baby, right?
It is, and this is, I guess, year 4, and it has grown like crazy.
Yeah.
And it's for a great cause, and it's for One Voice, which is human trafficking, women human trafficking, and we try to do as much as we can for that. And that's her baby, and it really has grown. And it's crazy because I said, hey, we were at 700 last year. Are you going to cut it down? And she was like, no, I think I'm going to.
The bigger, the better.
The bigger, the better.
That's so awesome. I love that too because, I love to have an opportunity to talk to people like you who really believe in the platform and being able to utilize your platform to help do good in this world. How did you guys select that specific organization to help be the benefit for this event?
Well, another great Red Raider and his wife. So Josh Abbott had been doing that, and Taylor, and they kind of introduced Debbie to it, and she was like, this is something I could really get behind. We were challenged by a really good friend of mine, Dr. Eric Cupp, and he said, you're going to have a position, you are going to have a platform, and he said, realize it's not you, it's your title.
Yeah.
Don't get a big head of thinking that it's you, but it's the position you're in. You've got a chance to use that position, and we love Lubbock, and so we do a big deal in the spring with Covenant Children's, which is one of our other big weekends, and then this, and so it's a lot of fun. Both of them are a lot of fun, and it's amazing how the community and Texas Tech, the Red Raiders, get behind this.
I love that too. I'm from Lubbock. I didn't go to school at Texas Tech, but I'm from Lubbock, and I have always loved growing up and like being able to watch the way that not only Texas Tech has grown, but like the way that this program has grown. And obviously having worked for athletics, it's so important. I feel like the community really rallies behind a head football coach that's really immersed in the community. And I think that like for you to be able to say that, you love Lubbock, you love this community, it's important to you, I think has a lot of value. And I think that's part of the reason, you and Debbie are your visibility to the community. It makes a huge difference. And I hope you guys know that.
Well, I appreciate it. And we do. We had a dinner last night. The Pickerings hosted us and the coordinators, and we're driving home, and Debbie said it again. She goes, Joey, you got to win. I started laughing. I was like, Debbie, I get it. And she goes, you already know what I'm going to say. I mean, we do. We lived in the same house for 20-something years and raised our kids at a phenomenal community, but nothing like Lubbock, Texas. It is the best place in the world. And, we plan on being here forever, and it's because of just what an incredible town and the people in this town. Yeah.
One of the things that I loved to do when I worked in athletics, and we would tell video testimonials, right, of coaches or players, I loved to hear the stories of the players who would say, they're from South Carolina or California, or they grew up on the beach of Florida, and they'd be like, I'm coming on the plane to Lubbock, and I'm wondering, like, golly, what is out there, right? And then they get here, and all of them would say the same thing, that like it was the people made such a huge difference. And I wonder if you might kind of speak to that, because now you're in a position where you get to bring in the people that are like filling the cup of your players, right? You get to create the environment and the culture that they encounter when they're part of this program. Like, what are the attributes that are important to you when you're looking at people who are going to come be part of your team from a staffing standpoint?
Yeah, I think it's really important. We talk about it all the time. Like, the most important thing that we have in this building is our players. And if you don't wake up every single day and you're not thinking of Hey, how can I make this player better? How can I affect this player? And that's not the first thing on your mind every day. You can't exist in this building. It is going to show up in a hurry that you're not supposed to be here. And I challenge the players too. I'm like, everybody that interacts with you, you are the most important thing. And if you feel like that you're not, and let me know or let them know.
Sure.
And it's our people in this building, they do believe they're here for that reason.
Yeah.
And then I also think it's why we have such a good culture and we have such a healthy team whenever it comes to that culture is because they do feel it. Like they feel it in this building, but they also feel it in the community.
Yeah.
They feel the people around them. There's so many, especially this year, because we brought in a lot of vets, a lot of older transfer guys that have been other places, and they're literally like blown away.
Really?
Blown away. Like, Coach, I've never been at a place like this. And they've been at some really, really good programs, and they're still like, you can feel it in the building, but you can also feel it in the community.
It's like purpose and intent. And I think it's like, iron sharpens iron. And so when you have people around you that are so like-minded that it's important to them to like provide that for those players, you're just constantly reinforced by that. You're constantly reinforced in that effort. But I wonder if we could maybe talk a little bit about culture, because I think about the pressures that student athletes are dealing with today, and it's only been 4 years since I worked in athletics, and it's almost unrecognizable now. There's so much going on, and between the transfer portal and NIL, it's overwhelming for some of those student athletes. And I don't want to call them kids, but they are.
Yeah.
Like some of them, they're young men. They're still learning and growing a lot. How do you cultivate an environment and a culture where you keep the main thing when there's so much noise that's constantly happening and the chatter just around them all the time?
Well, first you have to define the main thing. That has actually been a big part of this winter and spring and summer, and they're going to hear it tomorrow in the team meeting.
Yeah.
And it literally is like, keep the main thing, and here are the main things.
Yeah.
That's one. The other thing, we're going to address it tomorrow. We're not going to shy away from it, but there are extremely high expectations on this team.
Sure.
There's going to be pressure. And so how do you deal with that? And the main thing and dealing with pressure is very simple. Control what you can control. Like you can control being on time. You can control when you walk into any part of a workout that you empty the tank, that like, here's the standard of how we work out. Are you living up to that standard? Those are little things that you can win. And if you just stack those days, because you can sit here and your mind can go all kind of places, and you're not being process oriented, and you can't control all those things that you're thinking about, and so we're really going to focus on that. We talk about it all the time. We have a vet team that they're old and they understand to hold each other accountable. I mean, this really is a different team from the standpoint of that, to where in the past they would try to hold each other accountable, and maybe they would ruffle some feathers and like, man, like why?
Yeah.
This team's a little bit different. This team, like, hey, look, they know this is the standard. This is what we're working for. And if you're not meeting that standard, somebody's going to call you out on it.
That's right.
You can control that.
That's right.
And so that's what we're going to focus on.
Yeah. It's
but
in your
keeping
output.
the main thing. I will tell you this, though. I literally hear all of this like, man, these guys are getting paid. They are. It is real money. It is. But the amount of pressure that some of these guys are on when they're 17 and 18-year-old, and, like there's some grown men that are saying different things like, well, they are getting paid, and there's pressure. Yeah, but you're 30 or 40 years old and you're dealing with this pressure. These guys are 17 and 18 years old and they're getting pressure from home. They're getting pressure from their families, everything like that. My job is to minimize that and just keep reminding them, hey, this is what you can control. If you want to get to this point, do X, Y, and Z and just focus on that.
And that brings up a good point too. I think there are lots of people who are fans of college sports just generally right now, who have been for decades.
Yeah.
And they kind of say what I said a little bit earlier, like it's so different now than it used to be. And, I think that there are lots of people who have strong opinions about NIL, right?
Yeah.
And I wonder, what would you say to them about sort of your approach? Like, this is a reality that student athletes and coaches live in. Like, this is the reality. This is the truth of where we're at. But this is what we do about it. Like, how would you sort of, tell people when they say like things like, man, NIL it's ruined college sports? That's not necessarily true sometimes, but it does become complicated for people to understand.
Well, so the first thing I say is this should have happened in the beginning of time. Like for guys, like if they would have done it in a way to where we're talking about name, image, likeness, then a young man signing an autograph.
That's right.
Like
that's right.
We were so backwards.
Yes.
I mean, this has happened because we were doing things that we should have been doing it a totally different way.
Yeah.
So I always say that. And then number two, I say you better embrace it because it's not going to change.
It's not going to change. It's not going away.
Now, I think there's a lot of ways that we can do it better, and I think the revenue sharing is a better way of doing things. But it's whenever they opened Pandora's box and everybody backed away and said, we don't know how this is going to work, and so this is what we're going to do. It's not going back in the box.
Yeah, that's right.
And so you realizing that, then you try to find the best way to do it to take advantage of bringing the best players in. I do think I think we're going to see over the next couple years where it's going to even out from the standpoint of less people transferring, true contracts to where we can sign and have multi-year contracts to where those contracts mean something. So I think you're going to see your better players be at the same place. So I think what college fans don't like about it, then
sure,
I think they'll see that it kind of regulates out. But the last thing I would say is not one single person in their everyday true professional life would say, you know what? No, I don't want to get paid more.
Sure.
Like, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's just, y'all keep that money.
That's
like
right.
The reality of this and the way we're thinking, I get it because I'm a diehard sports fan. I absolutely love college sports. Yeah. And I understand that it's frustrating at times, but let's be honest, you're sitting in that chair. You're not going to be the guy that says, well, no, you know what? I'm just going to do it because. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, and I think too, the people who are probably maybe the most vocal and the things that they don't like about it are probably the same ones that sat and cheered on our softball team as they went and made an appearance in the College World Series, and the national championship game, which, obviously that story has been written with what Najee Kennedy has been able to do. And so, yeah, I mean, I think you're right. Like, it is a part of college athletics that will maybe evolve and change a bit, but it's never going to go away.
No, it's never going away.
Yeah.
And it should have never been that way in the first place.
Yeah.
I always, whenever I meet older players that they're like, Coach, man, all I got was my laundry stipend. Or then you go from that.
I got my books paid for. Yeah.
I mean, there was so many things that were so, like, I listened and of course had been in college athletics for a short time, but had been in athletics for now 31 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so it was wrong that we couldn't feed our players more than this much. And that was there was so many things that were really backwards that should have been solved a long time ago. And then once you try to solve them all at once, this is what it turns into.
Yeah.
It's like the Wild Wild West, and we just have tried to manage it the best and take advantage of it.
Yeah. Enough of the heavy. That was a loaded question.
That was good.
I do want to talk a little bit about softball, though, because it's just so cool to be able to see our coaches, you and Coach Gerlich, who else went with you, and Coach McCaslin to the College World Series, and obviously a historic appearance for our softball program. What was that like for you to just be able to, that was a big recruiting weekend for all three of you.
Yeah.
Was it hard for you to make that decision to go and celebrate Coach Glasgow and be there for that team?
No, I wish I could have gotten there game one. You know, that was a little bit harder just because that was opening up the opening part of the weekend and for recruiting and everything. But man, I was so excited.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, we have the best fans in the world, and we continue to prove it whenever Texas Tech gets hot.
Yeah.
You know, it's the most watched softball series in the history of softball.
Unbelievable.
And not only was that it, but it destroyed the ratings of the World Series in baseball, you know, college baseball. And so it just shows you whenever Texas Tech's involved in something. Kenny Perry, my special teams coordinator, always says it, don't let the Red Raiders get hot because we have such an incredible fan base. And I know that it was the same thing whenever we played in the final game in basketball, the viewership. It's going to be the same thing this year in football. We're going to have a great year, and I can't wait for Texas Tech to get behind us and experience that.
Yeah.
But the softball, I mean, just everything about that. You have Mahomes there. You have Mahomes tweeting before he gets there. I mean, I'm watching every second. My wife and I are watching the whole World Series, just not the World Series finals, but all the games we're in. And it was so cool. ESPN, they're eating it up because how many people are getting behind this team.
Yeah, it's so cool. And it's so cool because, you know, you watch a program like that who has overcome a lot. There's a lot of adversity, right, that they've overcome. And for them to be able to go and, like, get theirs and prove it on a national stage is really special and just an unbelievable opportunity for all of the Texas Tech community to kind of come together in that.
No doubt.
Tell me a little bit more about Debbie. You've talked about her a couple times. You talked about her with Women Behind the Brand and her just sort of support and advocacy of this program. You know, I think, can I tell you a story real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. So we were here shooting something. It was like a few months ago.
Yeah.
And we're waiting in the lobby. We had just finished. And this like cute, bubbly, bouncy blonde, she comes through and she's just like chatting and talking and she's wheeling a cooler behind her. And I'm like, oh, let me hold the door open for you. And she said, thanks, we just finished doing, you know, giving some snacks to the players. And I'm holding the door open for her. And I was like, I think that was Coach McGuire's wife. And so I asked one of the girls at the front desk and she said, yeah, she'll come a lot. And she'll do snack time for the student athletes, for the players. And it seems like such a simple thing, but my husband was a high school football coach for 10 years. And I'm like, the purity of that was so real because at this level, there are unlimited resources and personnel, and it's their job to do things like feeding the players. And for her to like come up and do that, and the gesture of it, I thought was so sweet and just so like pure. Yeah. It reminded me of, you know, all those times that we would do that for those high school kids. And I just love that on this stage, it hasn't changed anything for y'all. That's so cool.
They're still young people.
Yeah.
You know, and some of these guys are far away from home, so we want to make sure that they know that they have people that have their back. But we just don't do it. Like, she just doesn't do it here. Like, we're going to do a big deal. You know, our band is one of the hardest working programs on this campus. And so we do snow cone. We get the snow cone different places to come and do snow cones for the band. And I'm a huge band. They know I'm got their back. I love the band. And so the biggest thing is we're a family. We talk about it all the time. Like, you know, once you're a part of our lives, you're a part of our lives for the rest of your life. And so she's a part of that. You know, she's all in. I mean, you'll see her as much with me or of me at other events. I mean, she goes to a lot of the women's basketball games, a lot of the men's basketball games. She went to more softball games than I went to. You know, she's a huge fan of athletics, but she's all in when it comes to these players because she knows how important it is for them to feel at home. Yeah. And she literally like she will get the roster and she will study the roster.
That
she hates when we change.
amazing.
She hates when we change numbers. She's like she literally will say, like, to Coy's going to number 3, and that's an earned number, but Coy's going to number 3. And she goes, Coy, like, you're number 8. Like, why did you change? And so she'll give him a hard time, but.
Yeah.
But she's not the only one. If you come to our practices on Wednesdays, by the end of practice, 99% of the wives are here.
Cool. So cool.
The little kid, our kids are here. That's a big part of what we want to do, and so it's just not her, but she is a big part of the snacks.
Yes.
We got hot Cheetos and honey buns right outside of my office, and she loads those things up.
I love it.
Make sure that we have all that. And
I love that.
All of that stuff is just to open up communications more than just football.
Yes.
We can't just make it about football.
Right.
Because then that adds to what we talked about at the first. There's just more and more pressure. And there's got to be some outlet of that pressure. And that outlet is the snow cones or the snacks or just talking about life.
Yeah, and like having people that you get to do life with.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, those coaches' wives during season, like, they rally for each other, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I think, there's a difference between being married to a coach and being a coach's wife, right? And so, like, to hear that, it really does. It fosters a sense of community, but it's also a cool thing. One of my favorite things was, after a game when you would have the coaches and their kids would come and hug them, and that's good for the players to see.
Oh, it's great.
You know what I mean? And
doubt.
so you see it with high school programs like coaches' kids, they have like a buddy right on the football team or the pom squad or the cheerleading squad. And it just fosters this sense of community. But yeah, I love that. I wonder, and this may be hard for you because I know that there have been so many, but I wonder if you can tell us a story about a player who made a significant impact on you. Maybe somebody who you kept up with even after all this time. Maybe it's someone that you coached when you were coaching high school. Is there like a story that stands out to you?
There's a couple, and I hope I don't get emotional because I'm a very emotional person.
Me too.
So,
Me too.
So I was driving. I was still in high school. It was my last year. It was 2016, and I had a young man, Deontay Lockett, call me as we're going to coaching school. And he said, Coach, I just want you to know I'm doing really well. I have my own apartment. I bought a car. I have a full-time job. He's just going through all this stuff about, like, all the stuff that you told me, because he had a single parent. His mom raised him and his siblings, and he was like, all this stuff that you would say over and over that I didn't get at the time, I finally get. Wow. And it made me start crying on the trip. But then I was speaking at coaching school, and it was one of the first times that they did this. So it literally was like the audience was like 5,000 to 6,000 coaches. I mean, it was a packed. It's one of the biggest speaking engagements or group that I'd ever talked to. And I started crying on stage because, stuff like that. And then I'll tell a quick one last night. So I texted Taj Brooks. I texted Rabbit. I was texting Caleb Rogers. And I was asking them a question because they're in camp right now. NFL camps have got started. And so I'm to ask them different things that I'm going to use tomorrow in my meetings of like, because we have a number of guys that are going to get drafted off this team. Like, it's going to be crazy what's about to happen for the Red Raiders. We had 4 guys at the combine. Right now, we have rejected 14 guys at the combine for this next year. I mean, like, we're about to set a record for the guys that have been drafted for Texas Tech. And so I always talk about being a pro, and I use that a lot in a lot of different ways. But I was asking him, like, hey, what is the dress of the day? What is the tempo of practice? What do your coaches say about it? And Caleb Rogers, he texted me
Great kid.
back, and he said, Coach, everything you have told me the last 3 years has prepared me for this moment. Like, you talk about that you are he put it as you're the CEO of your career. Like you're in charge of your career.
Yeah.
So how you're recovering, how much time you're spending in the training room, the dress of the day matters, because if you're not dressed right in the NFL, you're going to get fined. Like he was like all the stuff that you talked about, and he went through the brand, he went through the player coach's oath, and he went through the plan to win.
Wow.
And he put it in his Raider terms for the Las Vegas Raiders. And man, I'm like, dude, this is awesome. I'm going to use it. But I was like eating it up. But like you are hoping that everything that you're talking about when it comes to being a man, things that just really being a good human. I always say being a man because that's what I'm coaching. I'm coaching young men, trying to help them grow and be men. And he's like, man, coach, I get it. And it's helping me to where some of these other guys are walking into these places that are not as prepared. And it's funny, people get it in the moment. Some people get it. Caleb's getting it months later, and then some people get it 10 years later.
Yes.
But they're getting it. And man, that's what's so much fun.
It is. It's so awesome. It's such a sense of validation too, because it reaffirms that the work that you're investing, it matters, and it matters at the deepest level.
Yeah. At the end of the day, that's why I do it. I mean, like the first thing in my PowerPoint, I think I'm a PowerPoint expert, by the way. My PowerPoints are pretty legit. But the first slide, of course, is going to be team meeting. It's going to be the schedule. But then the next thing is going to be Davion Carter, and he graduated this summer.
Yeah.
And we're going to celebrate him, and we're going to have a cake for him, which we do for all our graduates.
Celebrate life.
Like stuff like that.
Yes.
I mean, that's why you do it
So
at the
important.
end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, there just are probably unlimited stories that you could tell us about that. I've
got some good ones.
I bet you do.
Yeah.
And it's cool to, my husband, he coached at LISD and had, just tons of players that came through that program that he still talks to today. And, one of them, we've got pictures of him as a sophomore where he's helping me like cook dinner for, the whole position group. And, then I fast forward a few years, like have a photo of him when he was on a visit here, right? Then when he played here, and now he's on your staff, and his wife, Jaden, just walked by.
Ex.
Yes. And so it's just so cool to like, we took our son to his wedding last summer. It's just it's so gratifying to be able to like watch those kids go become great men. I keep calling them kids. They're not kids. They're adults.
Men, I'm still upset with him because I didn't get to do his wedding. I've done 2 players' weddings, and I'm just messing with him. But
and he got married on campus
like
too. It's a true Texas Tech story. I just I love it. I love it. Tell me a little bit more about what you're looking forward to. I feel like the last month waiting to the first game is like, it's like the same wait as the last 60 seconds on the clock before the first game. There's just so much anticipation, so much excitement. What are you looking forward to most in this next month of just like the continuation of preparation before you actually get to go out and go to battle with these kids?
Well, I can't wait for practice. It's all we've done this, really, and it leads up. It's like this every year, but it's like they call it talking season, like you've got media and
stuff like this,
which is awesome. But, I can't wait to get to the practice field and continue to build this team. I do think we're a really close team, but camp brings you that much closer.
It does.
Because we're going to celebrate some good things, and we're have some adversity that we got to work through, and so camp brings you closer. I can't wait for the season to get started and for the Red Raiders to see exactly what this team looks like, because it really is. It's a special group of guys. I tell everybody what's really cool coming to work every day is we brought in some very talented players.
Yeah.
I mean, our roster is extremely talented, but we brought even better men.
Yeah.
Like this is our third semester in a row that we've had a 3.0 or better as a team. Yeah. And so going back to like fans that are worried about where college football is going, guess what? Texas Tech's going in the right direction. We're graduating players. We have set every record in the 100 years of Texas Tech football when it comes to GPA.
Wow.
Our lowest is the highest ever on record.
Wow.
And we just so
That's
like stuff
remarkable.
like that. Whenever you're bringing in guys that understand and buy in what we're trying to do, I can't wait to put that on the field and let everybody see what it's going to look like.
Well, I know that there are lots of people that are looking forward to that too. One of the things that I think you really have a gift of making people, when you interact with people, you make them feel, you just have this like warm and welcoming spirit. And everybody that I've talked to, about this, they're like, man, Joey's such a good guy. He's such a good guy. And I just think that people rally for that.
Yeah.
And I think that people see what, your leadership is doing for this program. I think they see the value of those kids and those student athletes that you're coaching. I think that the culture is something that this community identifies with. And I think that's really important. I mean, we are a college town,
Yeah,
right? And
no
so
doubt.
I know that there's a lot of people that are really rallying for you and want to see your student athletes and your team win on and off the field. So I appreciate your time.
You bet.
This has been
Thanks
fun
for
for me.
Yeah, no
Was
doubt.
this okay?
We need to do it again.
Okay, sure. We'll put it
Yeah.
in. We'll put it on the schedule.
Let's do it.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
You bet. Thank you.